The difference in game one was the bench. The Knicks bench outscored the Sixers bench 42-7. That was really huge there. And then you bring up, the fact that Embiid didn't look good. Maxey didn't participate in shoot around. I do think that they both probably will play. But for the most part, I mean, it seems like they're not going to be 100%. Yeah, you can easily see, like I said, Embiid looked like he was playing hurt. If that's the case, the New York should be able to win the rebounding battle once again. The Knicks, they took the offensive rebounding battle 23-9, led to a plus 20 difference in the second chance points for the Knicks. And like I mentioned earlier, what the Knicks did really well was push the ball, get on the fast break, and didn't allow the Sixers to set that defense up with Embiid back there. Obviously, they're going to take advantage of Sixers Embiid's legs. For the Sixers to win this game, they're really going to need the bench to step up. I do think that the Knicks bench is going to come back down to earth a little bit. But also, I think Brunson's going to have a better shooting night, and I think DiVincenzo might have a better shooting night as well. So that should balance out on the Knicks side. From a trend perspective, if we look at round one since 2014, if the home favorite in game two of the series won and covered game one of the series as a home favorite, those teams typically cover at a high rate, 65.7% since 2014. If you include that the line has shifted more, and the reason why this is kind of iffy is just because the line could be shifted because of injury news or anything like that with the Philly side. But if it shifts more towards the favorite in game two, 19-4 straight up, 17-6 against the spread. That's a cover rate of 74% since 2014 in that case. So a lot of things really pointing towards the Knicks side to really take advantage of this unhealthy Sixers squad.
So, I mean, Philly was a plus 14 in Embiid's minutes the other day, but you talked about the bench disparity. Knicks bench scored 42, 8 of 13 from three-point range. Philly's bench scored 7, and that was the difference in the game. That and Josh Hart hitting unbelievable contested threes in the final minute, and Mitchell Robinson draining a pair of free throws to get the Knicks over the cover, over the number. But when we look at the huge bench advantage that the Knicks had in game one, is that something you expect to see continue moving going forward? Because, you talked about -5. The 5.5s, the 5s are all gone. The 5.5s, it's a split line right now. I'm seeing mostly 6s on the Wager Talk Live odds screen. And when you're talking about a bench disparity like that in game one, are you here's my follow-up. Do the Knicks have a legit bench edge over Philly, or is that a little bit random for the first game?
I think it's definitely going to balance out a little bit more. But I think the line has shifted, in my opinion, because of the news that Maxey did not go through shoot around. And I think he's going to play, and that line might come back. So if you haven't played the -5 or whatever it is, I think that might be available later on if he gets announced in. I mean, you guys got to monitor that on your own, but that's my opinion and take on what might happen. But like what you're mentioning about the bench, I do think it balances out a little bit, but I also think that the starters for the Knicks will play a little bit better. Brunson shot terribly in game one. DiVincenzo only had 8 points as well. I think both of those guys might have huge game twos here, in my opinion. And I think if they continue to take advantage of, and I know you mentioned Embiid with the plus 14, right? But there's times and situations where they're going to be able to take advantage of Embiid not being able to get back, right? Because they did have that fast break advantage. I think they scored like 20, almost 30 points in the fast break compared to like 10 or whatever it was for the Sixers. So if they can continue to do that, take advantage of the transition, then the Knicks should be able to cover this 5 or 6, whatever it is right now.